Does anybody remember when I said this? I just want to keep a steady, sustainable level of uploading. Oops. Turns out I had no intention of making a regular upload schedule, so... Well, dogs really are like children, aren't they? Still rather have a dog. Look at him. I never wanted to be one of those people who's like, look at my dog in my video that you didn't fucking ask for. But look at her. True beauty. Today I want to talk about stepping outside my comfort zone. I love my comfort zone so much. Almost as much as I love my dog. It's a bit sad, isn't it? I don't like new things. I don't like new experiences. I hate all that shit. I hate it. However, I also am fully aware that I can't grow as a person. I can't grow into the person that I know I am inside if I don't experience new things and put myself in uncomfortable positions so I can overcome my fears and anxieties about doing certain things or being in certain situations. So let's talk about stepping outside of comfort zones. Yay! I've never thought of myself as the most outgoing person in the world. Don't get us wrong. I love going out with my mates. I love going out with family. Like, to me, there's nothing better than family time. Like, all of your family at one table, whether it's in someone's house or restaurant, having drinks and having a laugh. Like, I love nights out with my mates. I love going places. I like going, like, little group holidays and things. I love all that shit. But I do actually love being in the house by myself. Maybe it's a little bit more. I just think I really appreciate my own company, and it's because people irritate me. So I don't irritate myself unless I'm in some kind of way. Like, when I'm alone, I don't have to worry about somebody fucking tuning in my ear. You know? I don't have to worry about listening to somebody breathing and it irritating us. I don't have to worry about other people's mess when I'm in my own home. It's all my stuff. It's all my mess. And I know it's probably there for a reason, or I know I'm going to tidy it up. I just name one thing better than being in your house on your own. I'll wait. Like I said, I think I'm just one of those people who really enjoys their own company. Like I said, I think I'm just one of those people who really enjoys their own company. At least that's what I thought until quite recently, when the thought of attending a wedding by myself did give me, I won't lie here, it did give me just a touch of, a little touch of the old anxiety. And it made us think, like, am I only comfortable in my company when I'm in my safe space, when I'm in my comfort zone, you know, when I'm sat in my house just by myself? Is that the only time I'm comfortable in my own company?
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Oh, those
Yes!
are the new ones?
Yes! 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 Yeah!
During the height of, I don't know if you remember, something last year, you probably won't remember, COVID-19 pandemic. When we were all forced to sit in our houses day after day. I mean, I still went to work, but it was at work at my family home, so it's not really going out. Yeah, so we were all locked in my houses, and like we had no choice but to sit and be in our own company. And to be honest, I started to enjoy it. Like, don't get us wrong, the first like month or two, I was scared, depressed, sad, and then I was like, oh, hang on a second, this is dope. dope because I don't have to pretend that I have other plans or I've fallen ill or something's happened to get out of plans that I didn't want to do. This is good for me. Until I did too much of it, and then I realised it's not good for me. It's quite bad for us because it made us want to stay in the house even when we were allowed to do. Oh my god, doesn't it sound like so? Is the term Orwellian? You know, like 1984, like, oh, we're allowed to do things. So when we're allowed to do things again, I found that I just still wanted to stay in the house and be on my own, like sitting in front of the TV doing nothing, or like getting involved in some hobby that involved no more than one person being me. I mean, obviously I went to the shops, like I went shopping with my sisters the odd time, I went over to families' houses, but it wasn't I didn't do days out, I didn't go clubbing, didn't really go to pubs or anything. For a long time I just like to sit in my own company. At the minute, now, I'll go anywhere, I don't care. I feel safe enough to go out and about. I'll go to shops, I'll go to clubs, I'll go to pubs, I'll go to restaurants. I've been many places in the last month that I wouldn't have done when I was stuck in that mindset of like, comfy at home. But I did realise that I was only comfortable doing these things when I was in the company of other people. At home, me, myself and I, and obviously this little princess, happy to be by myself. In a social setting, awful. As long as I'm with somebody, I was fine. And it's not got nothing to do with like the fear of pandemic or anything, or even fear of other people, or like social anxiety or anything. It's just, I don't know how to be on my own in a social setting. And I'm 30. I mean, if you consider the fact that I've been like a single independent lady for like over 4 years now, and I've done many things in that time, it shocked us to find out that I was still uncomfortable at the thought of attending a wedding on my own. Like, I attended, friend of the channel, Jess's wedding a couple of years ago, but that's not the same. I was with my mum, I was with my sisters, like I was with my sister's partners, I was in the family bubble. Like when I thought of the wedding I was going to be going to this time, yes, I was the bridesmaid, but I didn't have my security there. Like, yeah, all my friends were there, but they were with their partners or their groups of people. Like the thought of me being on my own, like fully on my own at the wedding, it's terrifying. And that made us think of other things that I was terrified of to do on my own, like eating in a restaurant. Even the thought of it now isn't pleasant. Like I've only eaten publicly by myself in a restaurant setting once, and it wasn't even a restaurant, it was it was a service station, and I'd gotten a KFC and I ate it on my own. I felt mad uncomfortable the whole time. And when I got in the car, I found out I had a bit of me fucking double down on my fucking forehead. Well, how did it end up on my forehead? So since the wedding started getting closer, this is something that I thought about a lot, and I wanted to challenge myself to do things on my own, by myself, without having to rely on other people for company. I wanted to push myself outside my comfort zone, because I want to grow as a person. I'm 30 years old now, and I don't want to get to like 31, 32 and still have like irrational fears of just sitting in a restaurant by myself, or going for a pint on my own, or just being in the street where a lot of people are gonna see as being on my own, and having in my head being like that they know you're on your own, they think you're sad, and they think you're a loser. I want to get to a space where I'm comfortable in a social setting by myself. Over this last month, I challenged myself to do 4 things. Was it 4 things? Technically 4 things by myself, and I'm gonna rate them out of 10. I'm going to rate my experiences out of 10. I'm going to explain why I've given them that rating. So we'll rate it out of 10. 1 is going to be terrible. 10 is going to be amazing. You might be surprised to find out there is a number 10 in there somewhere. There is a number 10 in there somewhere. It's me and the 10. What we'll do is we'll start off with the big event of the year, the biggest event. And I mean, it overtook everybody's lives for good reason. The wedding. So the wedding, like, experience was over 3 days. Day 1 was arriving at the hotel, and this is why it's technically like 5 things, but really it's only 3 things. So I'm gonna have to break the wedding into like 3 separate events, sort of, like, if you know what I mean, life events, whatever. I don't know. I'm just doing my best here. So we'll start with day 1, which was like a pre-wedding group dinner. Hotel check-in. Hotel check-in's fine. Like, I love being in a house on my own. I love being in a hotel room on my own. I have no problems with that. So arrived, although it was scary making my way around a hotel I'd never been in without like having anyone to like lead the way. I don't like doing things for the first time by myself, whatever. So checked in the hotel room, got dressed for dinner and headed down to dinner by myself to meet the group. I was the only single person in the group. Everybody either had like family and kids, partners with them, whatever. Like, I was the only person who was like a single person, and it was quite intimidating, and it really like pushed me to the limits of like how comfortable I was in like a new social environment, because although I was in the wedding party, I had only previously met like, let's do some quick math, like 5 people that were at that dinner, and there was probably upwards of like 30 of them in the dining room. So like it was a new experience to be taken around a huge group of people as one person, being introduced to everybody and their partners and their families. I don't really enjoy meeting new people overly much in a big setting. Like if I'm out with a friend and then their friend who I don't know comes over and introduces himself, I love that. I like, that's small, you know, it's a small intimate thing. I'm happy with that. It was like a lot of people at one time. I felt like everybody was like almost by herself. It made us feel a little bit uncomfortable. But I did end up sitting next to the bride. So although like the most of that table was a stranger to us, I had sort of like my comfort of having my friend right next to us. So that I would rate out of 10. I'd give it like a 7. I feel like I would want to experience that again, because it did push us to have to like think of not just myself and what like I had to make new conversation with new people, which I don't feel like I'm very good at. Like pre-COVID, I could waffle on about anything to anybody, but I noticed during the pandemic that my conversational skills kind of like left us. I don't know if anybody else got that, but like I could just blather on to clients that I used to have for makeup and stuff about all sorts and just keep a conversation going forever. And now I feel like when I'm faced with new people, I'm not able to, like, it's empty up here. It just, everything goes, and I'm just like
you
who the fuck do I talk to? What do I talk to them about? I've got nothing. But it really forces us to have to make conversation and learn. Remember to also talk to the people about themselves and not just share my experiences and what I do and who I am. So I'd like to experience that again, because it did, I think it was like a good learning thing for us. yeah, so that I give that a 7. I wouldn't necessarily say I enjoyed it. The meal itself was a whole kerfuffle. We'll not get into that. But the experience of being the one single person at the pre-wedding dinner, yeah, we'll give that a 7 for the reasons I've already stated. So the actual wedding day, I would give a straight up 9. If I'm rating the wedding as a wedding, fucking 25 out of 10. It was beautiful. It was the best day. But obviously in this situation, when I'm talking about just being a one single guest / member of the wedding party at a wedding, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I'll talk about what I loved about it first. I felt like I had a lot of freedom to do whatever I wanted. Like, I felt I didn't have to be like, do you want to do this thing that I'm going to do? Are you going to be okay over here while I go and do this thing? I'm going to talk to those people over there. Are you going to be alright whilst I do that? It was just, if I wanted to go over there and talk to that group of people, I could do it. If I wanted to go back to my room for 5 minutes, I would do it. It's not, I didn't have to constantly be checking that another person I was with was okay. Like I could concentrate on me and enjoy my experience at my friend's wedding. At a complete contrast to the night before, I felt very confident to be able to like join groups of people and talk to them and talk and like just listen to their conversations and like interact with people. I don't know, I don't know, I just felt really good being a single unit at a wedding. It was fucking single unit at a wedding. No, but I just felt really, it was just a great experience to experience being like myself at a wedding without thinking about either a partner's needs or a person I was with, like what they were doing when they wanted to do it. I honestly loved it. I think my anxiety in the first place came from, like, do you remember in like between like 2001 and like 2006 there was a lot of movies about like rom-coms about women being a single person at a wedding, and it was like it was the worst thing, I need to find a date for the wedding kind of thing. And I think like that kind of like very early feeds into you. It's like, oh, it's an embarrassing thing if you go to a wedding as a single person on your own. But actually it was fucking dope. Like, it was great. Like, not once did I feel like self-conscious about being on my own. Like, dancing on the night time, even if there was no one with us on the dance floor, I was happy to have a boogie. Like, if the group of people that I was with broke away from us, I didn't feel like shy and embarrassed or like, oh god, I hope no one's noticing that I'm just by myself over here. Like, I didn't get that at all. The only reason I'm giving it a 9 and not a 10 is because I did have a few low moments where like, and this is actually nothing, my low moments weren't anything to do with the wedding, it was just stuff about me, like my body dysmorphia and stuff did kick us in the face a few times, and like at that point it would have been nice to have like a close personal support there, just like for a hug now and again. But like, not everyone is gonna feel like that and need like that, those like 3 moments during the day. So if you get the opportunity to be a single person at a wedding, you should do it. It's so good, it's fucking dope. So then we'll move on to breakfast the next day. So I kind of assumed like every hotel breakfast, you would just go down breakfast, meet up with everybody and have breakfast and go. You had to book times at this place. The camera angle might have just changed a little bit because I had to answer a text. I thought I'd booked a time that coincided with the rest of the bridal party. So I chose 9 o'clock in the morning. Did I choose 9 o'clock? 9 o'clock in the morning. Thinking everybody was going to be there. I got to the reception and they were like, yeah, we'll take you through. I sat at a table in a corner on my own by myself. I didn't even know anybody that I knew was actually in the restaurant until after breakfast. So I got to experience sitting in a restaurant completely by myself and eating on my own. I'll be honest, I didn't enjoy it. I'm just not at that level yet. I did find myself like at points just picking my phone up and pretending to be busy, just to take my mind off the fact that I thought people were going to be looking and being like, why is Shanna on at breakfast? Or to mask how uncomfortable I felt and my unease at being a person on their own at a table eating and not having anyone to converse with. Or I don't know, there's just something comforting about having another presence at your table when you're eating. I don't know why, but I didn't enjoy it. The breakfast was alright. Food wise, I didn't enjoy that experience, and I would give that a 5. I think I would force myself to do something like that again. I'm just not at the level where I enjoy it. It's just not for me. Maybe it's in a couple of months' time when I pluck up the courage to actually go for lunch somewhere by myself and experience being in a full actual restaurant setting. It might be different, but yeah, for now I'm going to give that a 5. It's not something that I would jump at the chance to do. I would have to make myself do it. So when the wedding was over and I sat and thought about what I'd done and how I felt about being on my own doing it, I decided I wanted to push myself a little bit further. I wanted to really take myself out of my comfort zone and put myself in a situation where I just literally had to rely on my own company for an event sort of thing. So I went to the theatre on my own. And I know that might not be a big deal for other people, and it wasn't even my local theatre. I went through the tunnel to the other side of the water to a theatre to watch a show by myself. And honestly, 10s across the board. It was the best. So let me just start by saying, when I'm at the theatre, I could be at the theatre with my family, my friends, or someone I'm dating. They're gonna do something that annoys me. I love them all to pieces, especially my family. My God, I love them. But my God, they do some things. Even if they just whisper over to us and say something at the part where I'm trying to listen to the show, or they might take a drink and to me it's too loud and I'm just they might breathe in my ear, do you know what I mean? They might move and put their legs somewhere I don't want them to do. So annoying. For me, that's so annoying. When I'm at the theatre, I want to be immersed in what is going on. And I found that being on my own at the theatre, I was able to do that. I mean, granted, I wasn't sat next to literally anybody. I chose a seat where I was at the end of the aisle with at least 2 seats between me and the next lot of people. But it was the best. It was great to be able to just fucking sit and fully concentrate on what was happening on stage, and not once did I feel awkward or anything. Even in the interval, I just sat in my chair and I was absolutely fine about it. And I loved every second of it. And I would advise everybody, if you are a true theatre lover, to go to the theatre on your own at least just once in your life, because it is so good. It's to be able to concentrate on what's happening on stage and not be thinking about the people next to you, or what your family's doing, or what your boyfriend's doing, or whatever. It's just great. It's so good. So yeah, I would advise everybody to do that at least once in their life. Before I actually got the theatre, I decided I was gonna go somewhere and have a pint on my own, which I've never done. I've never gone somewhere and just sat and had a drink on my own before. I would rate this. How would I rate this? Maybe I would give it an 8 out of 10. It just was just like, meh, I'm sitting here on my own having a pint. It wasn't anything special. I'd do it again. It just wasn't anything like, it didn't feel like anything. It felt normal, was what I'm saying. It felt normal. So yeah, when you walk past a pub and I look in and there's an old man just sitting like this with his pint, I always feel sorry for him. But after having been that person and just sitting at the table with a pint like this, there's nothing to feel sorry about. You're just sitting having a pint and enjoying it. It's no big deal, is it really? Actually, what made us do it is I'm a huge fan of the Stephen Tries podcast, and Dave on there, you know, the one with the fun laugh, he was saying he went to the pub and had a pint on his own, and I was like, fuck me, if you can do that, there's absolutely no reason why I can't do that. And so I did it, and I quite enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't amazing, it wasn't uncomfortable or anything either. It was just like, it's a solid 8. So now, after all that's happened, how do I feel? Do I feel exactly the same? Does the thought of doing things fill me with anxiety? Do I feel more confident in myself? Confusingly, the answer to all of those questions is no. The thought of some things still makes me like recoil from them, but the thought of doing other things on my own is just like, whatever, it's fine, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm choosing to do that, I'm happy to do that. Like, I'm not jumping at the chance to go to a restaurant and eat dinner on my own, but I wouldn't bat an eyelid at booking a single ticket to go and see a show again. Like, I even thought about doing it this weekend, but turns out I'm busy. So at the end of this video, what I'm trying to say is, it might not always feel good, but it is a good thing to step outside of your comfort zone and do something different. It doesn't have to be anything that I have done. Your comfort zone might be completely different to mine. But if, like, I feel like for me to grow as to the person that I want to be and to the confidence level that I want to have, those things are necessary for me to, like, those situations I need to put myself in to not feel uncomfortable about them anymore. And I would advise, as long as you're doing safe things and not being a fucking moron and putting yourself in dangerous positions, to do the same. Because you do feel a teeny tiny sense of achievement afterwards. So that is my conclusion to this video. Please don't hold your breath for another video anytime soon. I cannot even promise when this video will be on the channel. However, could you find a smidge of time to subscribe to the channel? If you could subscribe, that would be fucking wonderful. Like the video as well. Why don't you comment some ideas of things that I should do on my own? Yes, please do that. Nothing weird, okay? Nothing, I know what some of you are like, and just please don't do that, okay? I want actual real suggestions, okay? Okay, anyways, I'll see you when I see you. I'm not making any promises.